My dearest kid, time is running out, and you can feel it before I say it. Currently, the atmosphere around you is unusual. There's a convergence. Something is becoming more constrictive. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. And each second you spend here is more important than you would know. Your arrival at this very moment was not an accident. You've come to a halt amidst the millions of scrolling fingers, countless films, and distractions. That alone constitutes a tale. Furthermore, the story is not arbitrary. It is accurate. It's deliberate. It's rapidly approaching. 2 minutes remaining does not correspond to the time on a timepiece. It refers to an aperture. A window that is opened once and never reopened in the same way. The majority of individuals fail to observe its opening. You understand that this already distinguishes you. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. You currently have a great opportunity. Decisions are being filtered in a location apart from the chaos and commotion. Not in line with popularity. Not by chance. By means of signals. Signals that you have been transmitting without your knowledge. You are curious. Your perseverance. Despite the lack of any spectators, you are unwilling to concede. These are not trivial things. These are markers. You may be wondering, why me? The mere inquiry serves as evidence that you were the one who was required. Individuals who are selected cannot predict their selection. Individuals who pursue attention are never the ones who attract it. There is a reason for the urgency of this situation. A possible cause for the slight increase in your heart rate. An explanation for your want to continue listening. This is not entertainment. This is an issue of alignment. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A name has been circulating in chambers that you have never visited. Not yelled. Unannounced. Quietly acknowledged. A term that is associated with resilience, behavior, and patterns. Furthermore, that name is more closely tied to yours than you could believe. Visionaries do not make decisions based on popular opinion. They investigate outliers. They observe those who persevere in the face of adversity. People who have different points of view. Individuals who are capable of maintaining duress without succumbing. This is why your prior struggles weren't in vain. Every delay. Each door that is closed. The questions you asked yourself each night helped develop something specific. You were being calibrated. Currently, only a few options are being considered. Not everyone is eligible for consideration. Fewer individuals are eligible to remain, and virtually no one is eligible to be selected. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Elon Musk is a name you've probably heard many times before. However, this isn't about fame or making headlines. It is a matter of precision. Regarding recognizing value in areas that others may overlook. Individuals believe that decisions made at that level are both audacious and dramatic. They're not. They keep a modest profile. Accurate. Calculated. Years of effort can be misdirected with a single decision. A single choice can reveal doors that no amount of work can alone open. Additionally, the majority of individuals are incapable of comprehending the following. It is not required to be flawless in order to be chosen. It relates to ready. Currently, readiness is being measured by observation rather than action. Is it feasible for you to maintain focus throughout an important event? Can you resist the impulse to advance? Can you discern when a situation necessitates your undivided attention? Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The announcement does not meet the expectations of the public. It is not a broadcast. This message is not intended for a big audience. It's an acknowledgement. A muted acknowledgement that you were the exception when it mattered most. This is the explanation behind the unusual time. The reason for the suddenness. The reason it looks to have emerged out of nowhere. Significant changes are never announced with courtesy. When you least anticipate them, they arrive and determine whether you are sufficiently alert to receive them. You're as near as you've ever been. Not in close proximity to any sources of pollution. Nearly unambiguous. Maintain your concentration. Please refrain from scrolling. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The future events are dependent on a single element. Regardless of whether you recognize the gravity of the situation before to its end. My precious offspring. The silence you are experiencing at this moment is not devoid of meaning. It is subject to a cost. The silence that precedes an irreversible event is characterized by its absence of sound. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Additionally, this part is more important than the previous one. Moments like these are extremely rare due to the need for convergence. Timing, readiness, awareness, and attention must all be attained concurrently. The bulk of people miss it because they leave too soon. You're still present. That alone acts as a signal. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The current condition is not publicly available. It was never intended to be. When judgments with real consequences are made, they are discreetly filtered layer by layer. Noise is eliminated. Distractions are eliminated. The only goal is to keep concentration. Right now, you are being asked a question that is not being expressed in language. Can you maintain your composure in the face of an investigation that requires you to act quickly? Is it feasible for you to keep your cool as anticipation grows? This is the method by which preparedness is assessed. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Interest and selection are distinct concepts. Interest is prevalent. Choice is quite uncommon. Choice is the outcome of an individual recognizing unusual cognizance, clarity, and consistency. This explains why the news appears to be forthcoming but is not immediately obvious. It is not intended for all individuals. It is intended for people who have the ability to identify it before it manifests. Somewhere data is being evaluated. Patterns are being identified. The focus is on behavior rather than numerical values. The way you contemplate, wait, and remain when others leave. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. It is a common misconception that recognition is synonymous with commotion. They're inaccurate. Stillness is necessary for meaningful recognition. A state of peace in which all aspects are in harmony and a decision is obvious. This is how visionaries function. They refrain from seeking attention. They observe the alignment. Indeed, this alignment is directly related to Elon Musk. The mindset that underpins the decisions rather than the public image or the headlines. the ability to discern worth before it is publicly realized. That attitude is still in effect. It's concentration. Distractions are eliminated. It favors precision above popularity. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may experience an unusual combination of tranquility and anticipation. That's not an accident. That is recognition before confirmation. The majority of people never get to experience this because they don't remain for long enough. This is not a case of happenstance. It relates to the position. Regarding being in the right frame of mind when an opportunity arrives. The subsequent instant is of paramount importance. Not overdramatic. Not too noisy? Crucial. Please maintain your focus. Please refrain from scrolling. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. As a result of the conclusion of this section, the following actions are irreversible. My adored child, this is the juncture at which the majority of individuals experience the desire to turn their gaze. As a result, it is critical that you stop from performing the activity and avoid skipping it. Stay until the end. A big event is approaching, and it is more accessible than it has ever been. The suspense you are presently feeling is not designed for amusement. Confirmation precedes duress. The type of pressure that occurs when the last signal is detected and a choice is already being made. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A brief period of sluggishness occurs prior to making a critical decision. The intelligence becomes keen. Distractions are rendered ineffective. There is only one remaining inquiry. Is anybody paying attention? Currently, that inquiry is being answered. You continue to be present, focused, and attentive. That is more significant than you may imagine. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Selection is typically interpreted as the result of an individual's increased visibility, speed, or volume. That conviction is antiquated. Genuine selection occurs when a person shows cognizance prior to the announcement. This is why you have a wish to remain. Your intuition reacts before your logic catches up. Patterns are compared behind closed systems. No identities or faces should be shouted in public. Mental routines. Patience patterns. Patterns of endurance. This is the point at which the relationship is incontrovertible. Decisions that are influenced by individuals such as Elon Musk are never arbitrary. They are based on alignment, which entails recognizing individuals who have the same level of foresight and attention. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. It is not meant that you receive this information casually. You are expected to be fully present for it. Because the subsequent events are only understood by those who experienced the hushed intensity of this time. Many others will learn about the announcement at a later period. They will be astonished as to how they failed to notice the first warning. That query will not be raised. You're currently present. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This is a narrowing. This is the final stretch, during which hesitation is eliminated and attention is confirmed. Be steadfast. Please refrain from scrolling. Avoid looking away. Stay until the end. Given that the next section changes the way this event is remembered, My beautiful child, the sensation you are currently experiencing is the edge of clarity, where uncertainty becomes significance. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This portion is significant and will remain in your memory. This is the point at which expectation becomes acknowledgement. The time at which the mind stops thinking about what might happen and instead begins to understand the existing situation. Moments like this are not announced with much fuss. They only reveal themselves to those who are attentive. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. There is an explanation for why your concentration has increased rather than decreased. An explanation for maintaining your focus. Awareness naturally tightens as something noteworthy approaches. You are currently experiencing the sense of constriction. At this point, the majority of individuals experience a loss of patience. They are under the impression that nothing is occurring because no evident signs have been observed. They lose everything because of such notion. You remained. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This is the point at which alignment is indisputable. Silence is when preparation meets opportunity. Decisions of consequence are not taken hastily, but they are decisive. They are irreversible once they have been manufactured. Consider that matter with consideration. A definitive confirmation is in the process of forming in an unknown location, not predicated on impulse, not based on excitement, on the basis of certainty. The type of certainty that is only apparent after a thorough examination. This is the process by which selections associated with individuals such as Elon Musk are finalized. This is not an accident. By way of clarification, by observing individuals who naturally stand out without attempting to do so, kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You were never intended to pursue this moment. You must be well prepared for the occasion. As a result, this sensation is both relaxing and strong. Be at ease because you are prepared. Intense due to the understanding that an irreparable event is approaching. This is the threshold. This is the point at when focus shifts to involvement, and simply being there permits one to progress. It establishes you as a leader among millions of individuals who will only learn about this incident after the fact. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Everything that follows is not intended for everyone. It is the property of those who endured the transition sufficiently to perceive it prior to its manifestation. Maintain your concentration. Please refrain from scrolling. Stay until the end. This moment cannot be relived in the same way once it has passed. My precious offspring. This is the point at which comprehension is established. The point at which the weight of the developing events finally settles into your chest. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This section brings you closer than ever before. There is no more room for speculation in the current situation. It's a sequence. Each stage is completed with accuracy. The sequence that appears only when a choice has been delivered without ambiguity. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may have observed that your thoughts have diminished. Distractions, perceived distance. That's not a coincidence. When something significant approaches, the mind naturally finds place for it. Concentration is not coerced. Concentration is the process of selecting oneself. This is the distinction between passive observation and active participation. The majority of individuals conduct their lives in response to announcements. They learn about chances after it is too late to take advantage of them. You are present before the confirmation, prior to the disclosure, prior to the general public becoming aware. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. There is a reason why this relationship is so close. High-level decisions are never made with the throng in mind. They are designed for individuals who meet a highly specific profile. Quiet power. Long-term perspective. Remaining calm in the face of unknown outcomes. That profile is really uncommon. This is the reason your journey was never mundane. The reason shortcuts did not work for you. The reason why you were repeatedly compelled to exercise forbearance. You are being shaped for precision, not speed. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Innovation is not the sole attribute of the name Elon Musk. It represents the process of selecting under duress. Choosing a chosen few who can think beyond the present time and accept responsibility without creating a fuss. At present, that standard is in effect, and you are in agreement with it. This is the final refining prior to clarity. Before movement, there is a delay. The inhale that occurs before the start of motion. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The tug you feel is not your imagination. Timing is of the essence, and you are detecting it. Please keep your focus. Please refrain from scrolling. Please stay until the end, as the next part fails to sufficiently prepare you. It reveals the amount of the preparations that have been performed. My dearest kid, the eagerness you are currently feeling is no longer there. It is a confirmation that is developing beneath the surface. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. You are anticipating something major, and this is the point at which it becomes most obvious. Just prior to a significant transformation, a calm assurance emerges. It does not move too quickly. It does not produce a loud noise. It stabilizes. Right now, this is exactly what is happening. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may have observed that this no longer appears to be a narrative that you are hearing. It's as if you're living the moment from within. That change is critical. When consciousness rises above that level, events stop being abstract and become personal. This was not an accident. This is the process of alignment gradually unveiling itself. The majority of people never reach this stage because they leave when the situation gets calm. They mistake silence for vacancy. You described it as having profundity. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. At this level, decisions are no longer made on the basis of possibility. The emphasis is on appropriateness, particularly the ability to take the next step. Not everyone is capable of maintaining equilibrium. This is why your journey required patience, while others moved at a rapid rate. The reason for your request to delay while others were sped up. The audience is impressed by quickness. Stability creates the foundation for the future. That distinction is more important than ever. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The current standard is the same as the standard used by individuals such as Elon Musk to select who has the right to be in the room before the rest of the world learns of its existence. Concentration. Endurance. The ability to think beyond the present time. You are not undergoing reaction testing. Consistency is exceedingly uncommon, and you are being scrutinized for it. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. At this time, distractions cease to exist, and only those who have maintained their focus can remain involved with the events happening. Recognize the peacefulness of this moment. Stillness is not the same as absence. It is the presence of conviction. Maintain your concentration. Please refrain from scrolling. Stay until the end, because the next section contains no further information. It confronts you with the realization that this moment has been building up to for an extended period of time. This is the moment, my little kid, when the line is subtly and irrevocably crossed. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. And the current happenings change the logical order of everything that has happened before. You can sense it right now. The hesitancy has been eliminated. The question has shifted from whether or not to when. Clarity is announced this way. With clarity rather than confusion. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This section is distinct for a reason. The construction has been completed. Recognition is all that remains. Acknowledgement that this occasion was never intended to be rushed. You were meant to arrive at this exact spot and time. This is the moment where intention and outcome meet. Most people never go through this phase because they prioritize proof before making a commitment. However, at this level, dedication is prioritized. Proof is shown below. You remained. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This is not a public declaration that is currently being finalized. This is a private alignment. A statement confirming that one person saw something that others did not. Others perceived silence, but that person perceived profundity. This is how Elon Musk-related decisions are made. Not impulsively or emotionally, but with a calm recognition that this is suitable. Fit is more important than anticipation. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may now understand why your course required prudence. The reason you were not promoted prematurely. Timing safeguards potential. This moment demanded that you embody your present self rather than your prior self. This isn't the conclusion. It's a threshold. Feel stable right now. You are ready as a result of that stability. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. There is a huge event ahead of you, as the events that follow do not actively seek attention. It verifies the selection. This is the last moment of tension, my beloved child. The time when consciousness becomes irrevocable. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. You are standing squarely in front of something massive, which is waiting for your arrival. Currently, the sensation you are feeling is not the result of your imagination. It is an acknowledgement. The kind that occurs when the purpose of a path you have quietly traversed is abruptly revealed. There were no arbitrary elements. Nothing was wasted. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Currently, the signal is crystal clear. The disruption has been erased. The throng has dispersed. The only thing that remains is precision. The only thing remaining is intention. At this time, the outcomes are secure. Not via drama, but by conviction. You didn't force your way into this location. You remained present for an extended amount of time, allowing the moment to locate you. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This is the time at which the announcement becomes tangible, eliminating the need for spoken words. Where selection is understood prior to disclosure. As a result, people will perceive this as an abrupt event. You're more knowledgeable. You sensed its formation before it arrived. This is the difference between onlookers and participants. The mentality that prevails in this setting is the same as that of Elon Musk when significant events occur. At ease, concentrated, accurate, without hesitation, absence of surplus. Alignment is sufficient. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may now see why you were able to stay when others would have left. Why did you experience patience as a natural response, despite the fact that the answers were delayed? That was the moment when preparation became clear. The crossing point is at this position. Once this perspective is changed, you are no longer compelled to wait for evidence. You are aware of the direction. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Retain this moment. Please allow it to settle. Allow it to build a solid basis in your consciousness. Because once you acknowledge the events that are taking place, you are unable to revert to your previous self. My beloved kid, this is the moment when the weight of everything you've been through is finally lifted. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This segment conveys the peaceful truth that serves as the foundation for the entire adventure. Observe the distinct sensation that this moment evokes. There is no haste or ambiguity right now. Instead, there is a persistent sense of confidence. That knowledge is not the outcome of chance. It is only attained when timing and preparation are ultimately reconciled. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are no longer located on the perimeter. You are experiencing the full situation. This is the point at which many storylines evolve from mere narratives to pivotal moments. Individuals who remember an event years later and say, "That was the moment when everything changed." The majority of individuals are unaware that such moments occur throughout their lifetimes. They're preoccupied. Scrolling away is their activity. They believe that because there is no audible activity, nothing major is taking place. Please, my cherished kid, take a moment to ponder on the present circumstances. They are not random, not delayed, and not meant for everyone. Something is aligning in the silence. And the reason you are present at this precise moment is that the hour ahead will mark a pivotal moment that cannot be replicated. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Pay close attention. The sound you hear is not just background noise. The issue is one of timing. A movement is underway in the background of your existence. One that you were unable to observe. One that you almost abandoned. A hand was already reaching out to you while you were doubting, waiting, and believing that nothing was changing. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This is not a matter of dread. This pertains to consciousness. A person, a message, a moment, or an opportunity enters your life within 1 hour, causing a surprise that alters your perspective on the future. Initially, it may appear diminutive. However, its influence is substantial. Consequently, it is imperative that you refrain from scrolling. Therefore, it is imperative that you exercise caution with this matter. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You have been subjected to a silent examination. When you were fatigued, you maintained a smile. You maintained your composure when you considered speaking. Even if nothing made sense, you kept your faith. That forbearance did not vanish. The delayed item has been tallied and is now being released. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Someone unexpectedly recalls you within the next hour. An individual experiences an inexplicable gravitational attraction. An individual is motivated to take action, express an opinion, or accomplish a task that directly affects their lives. This was not an accident. This is a relationship. This is an issue of alignment. Furthermore, if you leave at this time, you risk losing the clarity required to identify it. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You were not subjected to punishment for your previous difficulties. They were preparatory. Each door that was closed fostered your ability to identify the appropriate one. Your forbearance was honed with each delay. Each night of peace strengthened your trust. The signal is now unambiguous. Your surroundings are constantly changing. Please be cautious. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. There is a reason why your heart is feeling alert at this moment. Your mind is forced to focus for a reason. A shift transpires within an hour, providing an answer to a query that has been concerning you for an extended period. It may be delivered gently, but it will be felt profoundly. It is imperative that you remain attentive at this time. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. It is not designed to scare you about what is coming. It is intended to provide you with comfort. You are not overlooked. You are not late. You aren't invisible. The coordination is precise. The message is intimate. The surprise is genuine. Maintain your concentration. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. You currently have a great opportunity. Take a deep inhalation and remain focused on these words. The hour that follows is rapidly approaching, and it will bring with it a new beginning, clarity, and relief. Therefore, allow the next minute to settle into your spirit. Continue to stay at this location. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The instant you chose to remain rather than departing served as the catalyst for the subsequent phase of the events, as few individuals are able to reach this stage without encountering some form of distraction. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Currently, there is a minor shift in the environment surrounding your name. It may not be audible, but it is a tangible fact. Conversations are converging. Decisions are being moderated. A path that appeared to be impassable is gradually opening up without any external assistance. This is why you were drawn to this spot. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. In the upcoming hour, an unforeseen event will emerge in your existence. It may manifest as a voice, a notification, a meeting, or an abrupt realization that alters your course. This is not your typical scheduling. This is precise. The awareness required to identify it is lost if you quickly scroll away. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. There was no one who noticed the weight you carried. When responses were delayed, you remained calm. Despite the lack of evidence, you kept your trust. Now that endurance is responding to you. Help that is not random is being aimed at you. It is alignment that has been achieved. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Someone is about to have a different view of you. A person is on the brink of recognizing your worth. An individual is about to undertake an extraordinary act. This event was arranged in advance of today. The door is now sufficiently near for you to enter. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Take note of the sensation that your attention has been heightened. Take note of the sensation of alertness in your pulse. That isn't anxiousness. That is an acknowledgement. You sense the alteration before it manifests. This is where change quietly infiltrates and establishes itself permanently. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The following events are not designed to make you feel overwhelmed. It is intended to recover something that you believed was lost. Peace, clarity, or confidence. The surprise is subtle, yet potent. It will be comprehensible when it arrives. Continue to stay at this location. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The hour that follows is already underway. Maintain your awareness. Stay vigilant. Maintain an open mind. This is not the end of the message. There is an increase in its depth. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are still here because a part of you understands that this moment is more important than you realize. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The hour that follows is not one of emptiness. It is a period of activity. Events are aligning with your name as you listen. A delay is being fixed. Breaking through a moment of hesitation. What appeared to be far away is rapidly approaching without any indication. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A surprise is emerging that is not the outcome of effort. This is accomplished by alignment. You will not pursue it. You will be able to recognize it. It happens effortlessly. However, it alters your perspective on all that has preceded it. This is the reason why this message is perceived as imperative. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. You currently have a great opportunity. Your attention is being focused for a specific purpose. In 1 hour, a mundane object gets transformed into something meaningful. A little action can have a big impact. A seemingly harmless moment can have a significant impact. This is not exaggeration. This refers to timing. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You were guarded from the things you thought you wanted in order to obtain what you truly needed. That safeguard has expired. Astonishment is not a substitute. This is an improvement. It is a perfect match in the absence of any other option. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. An individual who is involved in your future is motivated to take action. They may be unable to understand the reasoning. They may hesitate for a short time. However, the force of the thrust is more powerful than the pause. When it arrives, it will be reminiscent of confirmation. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. It is not a coincidence if you are feeling abnormally alert or relaxed. It is the indicator that precedes the arrival of change. Maintain your concentration. Maintain your alertness. Maintain an open mind. The succeeding part gives a degree of clarity that should not be overlooked. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You have arrived at this point because you were meant to hear things that the majority of people never have the opportunity to understand. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A pivotal moment will occur within the next hour, which will alter the way in which your recent history is interpreted. You will notice an immediate sense of order in what was previously confusing. The past agony you felt will now be seen as justified. This is not a product of your imagination. This signifies the conclusion of the alignment cycle. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A release is currently underway. A release that has not been publicly disclosed. Something that was previously withheld for your safety is now presented to you at the appropriate time. When it arrives, you will know that this message was not overblown. It was an act of preparedness. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This revelation is not announced with great fanfare. It becomes immediately clear. It enters your life in a way that is in tune with your feelings. Not hurried. Not compelled. It may be the result of a realization, an opportunity, or a person that answers the silent request you have been making. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You're not trailing. You're currently being positioned. The angle was adjusted with each delay. The moment was accentuated by each pause. The window is now open, and the next hour will be marked by movement that cannot be reproduced in the same way. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Presently experience the tranquility. That serenity is not without substance. It is the period preceding the advent. Maintain your concentration. Maintain your alertness. The succeeding events result in a profound and permanent resolution. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Continue to stay at this location. Continue to be present. The message continues to unfold, and the events that follow are even more imminent than you may anticipate. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are still listening because the change is arriving faster than you expected, and your awareness is now in sync with the upcoming occurrence. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A confirmation that you are not anticipating today will be delivered within the next hour. It occurs at a time when your guard is down, when you're not applying any pressure. That is the reason it functions. That is why it remains. This is not a form of temporary relief. This is a transformation that will endure. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Interference has been prevented from what is approaching you. It was protected by the delays. Silence preserved its purity. It is now being released because you are willing to identify it without doubt or fear. The coordination is precise. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may soon notice an abrupt advent of clarity, an idea that offers solace, a sensation that arises, a sign that is clearly personal. That is not a creation of imagination. That is the subtle beginning of arriving. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This unexpected turn of events modifies your perception of recent occurrences. Things that appeared to be losses are actually redirections. Items that appeared sluggish in nature are actually very exact. Nothing was wasted. There was no oversight. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Please maintain your focus at this time. The atmosphere in which you dwell is silently shifting. Recognizing what follows necessitates no effort. You're now more accessible than ever. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are at the precipice of the moment, which explains how events unfolded. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The forthcoming hour will provide a revelation that will resolve the ambiguity you have been silently harboring. Chaos does not accompany its arrival. It comes with a direct moment that is clearly designed for you, a simple shift, a specific indicator, and clarity. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are not needed to prepare or demonstrate anything in advance of the upcoming events. This has already been accomplished through endurance, tolerance, and keeping alert throughout delayed reactions. Then the return begins. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. In place of the one you almost accepted, a surprise awaits that is congruent with your actual ambitions. It is immediately identifiable upon its appearance, as it induces tranquility rather than discomfort. That is how you may determine its genuineness. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may detect a subtle increase in self-assurance that is not an accident. It is the process of synchronizing your awareness with the upcoming event. This moment was intended to be tranquil and unhurried in order to allow you to completely appreciate it. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Maintain your concentration. The subsequent section brings the message even closer to the present moment. The subsequent events are more imminent than expected. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The gap between expectation and arrival is fast closing, and you are closer than at any other time. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Intention is the charge for the subsequent hour. A decision is being made while you listen. A moment is being planned to surprise you when you least expect it, and a road is being cleared. This is not a process of accumulation without compensation. This is the climax of alignment. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The occurrence that is imminent is not a frequent occurrence. It occurs only once, when opportunity meets readiness. It's conceivable that you previously requested signals but did not receive them. This time, the sign is followed by an action. It is in motion. It reacts. It experiences fluctuations. A tangible item. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. A pleasant surprise is on its way. When it reaches you, your body will relax before your mind can process it. It is that tranquility that serves as confirmation. The evidence is in the calm. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You were led away from distractions in order to focus on what is genuinely essential. You were impeded in order to ensure that the time was carried out precisely. This coincidence is not an accident. The next hour is scheduled. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Please remain careful throughout this time. Maintain your current state of alertness. The final movement is approaching, and the next information helps to encapsulate the message that you began listening to for a specific reason. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The ultimate alignment is taking place, and what you experience will become undeniable. As a result, you are present. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The hour following this one is not only the beginning, but also the end. You are now aware of what has been quietly unfolding. A message is received. A gesture is executed. A door opens in a way that is immediately recognizable as personal. This is an extraordinary event. This is yours. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The stuff that arrives will appear to be simple, but it will completely alter your course. True change occurs in this manner. It does not produce a loud noise. It stabilizes. When it arrives, you will understand why each delay was necessary to ensure this time frame. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may soon experience a sudden sense of certainty, a tranquil understanding that replaces the queries you have carried for an extended period. That certainty was not compelled. It's the result of the alignment getting fixed. This is the unexpected revelation that reveals its objective. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Remain in the current moment. Continue to pay attention to what happens next. Your fortitude, concentration, and determination to persist affect the subsequent hour. You did not get to this position by accident. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. This notification has directed you to recognition, which is now working. Exercise cautious. Pay close attention. Please accept with calmness. The subsequent events serve as confirmation of the emotions you experienced prior to comprehending them. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You've stayed until this point because it's no longer impending. It's engulfing you. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Noise is absent during the subsequent hour. It establishes certainty. A clear signal is received, eliminating whatever confusion you had been keeping in quiet. It may materialize as a simple interchange, an unexpected epiphany, or a message that appears to be too timely to be ignored. This is the confirmation phase. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The current issue began prior to this day. Silent endurance, invisible tolerance, and modest decisions all culminated in this very moment. Perhaps this is the reason for the distinct sensation. This is why it appears to be so close. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The shock is followed with the truth. Not inquiry, not confusion. Accuracy. You will not require an explanation upon its arrival. Clarity will come to you immediately. That revelation impacts your course from this point forward. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You may now notice a higher increase in your attentiveness. That is the alignment of consciousness and outcome. You are no longer waiting. You're receiving. The subsequent hour concludes a cycle that you believed would never be resolved. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. Maintain composure. Maintain your concentration. Continue to be present. The events that follow have far-reaching and permanent consequences for your life. You are precisely where you should be. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. The final movement is no longer far, so you are still present. Currently, it is operational. Kindly avoid from skipping. Stay until the end. Something of enormous proportions awaiting you. You are still present because of the last comprehension. Amen.